is a home of extraordinary variety of climatic regions ranging from tropic in the south to temperate and alpine in the Himalayan north. India's climate can be described as a hot monsoonal type. By the end of this chapter, you will be able to differentiate between climate and weather, analyze the factors influencing climate and weather, draw climographs. In this chapter, Climate of India, we will be studying about concepts, factors influencing weather and climate, seasons, global warming and AGW and climatic changes. Today, this chapter is divided into two parts. Part 1 will be about concepts and factors influencing weather and climate. Part 2 will be global warming and seasons. So, let's begin with part 1 of Climate of India, that is concepts and factors influencing weather and climate. Shall we begin with concepts, children? Okay. So, before we go into the concepts, let us learn about two terms, climate and weather. So, what is weather? The state of atmospheric conditions of elements like sunshine, temperature, atmospheric pressure, wind, humidity, precipitation, etc. over an area at a particular time for a short period refers to weather. Both weather and climate are made of same elements such as sunshine, temperature, humidity, precipitation, etc. So, if the state of atmospheric condition of these elements prevails for a short period of time, it is known as weather. For example, if it is hot outside, then what do we say? We say it's a sunny day or the weather is hot. In some areas, we find partly sunny. In some places, there may be clouds. In some places, there may be clouds filled with rain. So, if it is raining outside, what do we say? It's a rainy day or the weather is rainy. In some places like Shimla, Darjeeling, etc., we see snowfall also. And in some other places, there may be clouds filled with thunder. So, what are all these pictures indicating? They indicate the weather conditions of a place. So, weather keeps changing for a minute, even for an hour or even for a day. So, that's why we cannot predict the weather very quickly. Then what is climate? The state of atmospheric conditions over a large area and follows a similar pattern over 30 years or more is known as climate. So, as I told you, both weather and climate are made of same elements. What are the elements? They are sunshine, precipitation, atmospheric pressure, wind, etc. So, if it is for a short period of time, it is known as weather, and if it prevails for a longer period of time, that is for 30 years and above, it is known as climate. If the same pattern is continuing over 30 years, then it is called as climate. For example, look at this picture. Can you identify which place it is? Yes, good. It is Shimla and Manali. So, how is the climate over here? It is very cold because it has been same over 30 years. The weather conditions or the atmospheric conditions prevailing in that place for a large area was over 30 years. So, that's why we call it as climate. Then look at this picture. Can you identify this? Yes, good. This is Rajasthan. So, how is the climate here? It is very hot. So, whenever during winter season, generally people like to visit hot areas like deserts. Is it clear, children? Okay. So, how do we get the weather reports? This is television. We all know. So, we can see weather reports in television, newspapers, etc. Now, can you see the weather forecast here? Yes, it tells about a weekly report. So, how is the weather or on Monday? It is partly cloudy. And how is the weather on Tuesday and Wednesday? What is the picture? It is sunny. So, the weather is hot. Thursday and Friday, it could be cloudy. Is it clear? Okay. Now, how do these people also get the weather forecast, or from where do we get weather reports? It is through climographs. The word climograph, if you divide the word, you get two words. Climo, that is climate, and graph. Graph means it is a representation. So, what is climograph? A climograph or climatograph or climate graph is a graphical representation of the relation of two climatic elements such as temperature and rainfall, plotted at monthly intervals throughout the year. So, climograph or climatograph, it shows the relation between two elements. What are the two elements? Rainfall and temperature. Both these elements are plotted on the same graph and at monthly intervals throughout the year. Let me make it more clear with the help of a graph. Can you see the graph here? And along with this, approximate data is given here. So, you can see months, rainfall in millimeters and temperature in degree Celsius. So, how many months are there in a year? There are 12 months. So, from January to December. Rainfall is measured in millimeters, temperature is measured in degree Celsius. First, before drawing the graph, you need to know what is the minimum and maximum rainfall and what is the minimum and maximum temperature. So, can you tell me what is the minimum rainfall here? It is 10 millimeters and maximum is 330 millimeters. And what about temperature? Minimum is 19 degrees Celsius, maximum is 31 degrees Celsius. So, shall we plot the figures on the graph? Okay. Generally, when we draw a graph, we have two axes. A graph can be plotted on two axes. What are the two axes? X axis and Y axis. So, on X axis, months are represented on X axis and rainfall or precipitation, months are represented on X axis and rainfall or precipitation is plotted on Y axis. Can you see here? Okay. Now, rainfall, the minimum is 10 millimeters. So, you can start with origin as 0 and plot at 50 intervals like 50, 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 and 350. Precipitation has to be represented in bar diagram. And actually in this picture we are seeing green color, but whenever we draw a climograph, it has to be in blue color because water is in blue color. So, rainfall is in blue. So, bar graphs should be in blue. And let me tell you one thing, that climograph varies from place to place and country to country. So, precipitation, first let us draw the precipitation or rainfall on the graph. So, January it is 20 millimeters. So, plot it on Jan, then February it is 30 millimeters, March 40 millimeters, April 49, May 100, June 250, July 330, August 329, September 270, October 150, November 20 and December 10. Now, in which month is the maximum rainfall? It is in the month of July. Can you see the bar here? It is in the month of July. And in which month is the least rainfall? It is December, that is 10 millimeters. Okay, having drawn the bar graph, now the temperature is the second element which has to be plotted on the same graph. So, another axis has to be drawn on the right side, that is right hand y axis. And temperature, as I told you, it varies from place to place. So, in some places it may be minus degrees Celsius. So, that is why the temperature cannot start at origin, you should start after or from the middle. So, it shows the minus degrees, that is below 0 is minus degrees and above 0 are plus degrees. Now, what is the maximum temperature? It is 31 degrees Celsius and minimum is 19 degrees Celsius. Here one point has to be clear, that while drawing or while plotting the temperature, care should be taken to draw it in the middle of the bar diagram. As you can see, June, July and August, you can see the temperature plotted in the middle. This is just to avoid the confusion between the two elements. Am I clear? Good. So, in the same way, start plotting the temperature graph in the middle of every bar diagram. So, in this way, climographs are drawn. Am I clear, children? Good. This is a image from your textbook. Now, as I told you, temperature, rainfall has to be shown in blue color, and on the same graph two temperatures also can be plotted, like mean maximum temperature and mean minimum temperature. The temperature is measured in degrees Celsius, and these two graphs are showing a comparison between two places in same country, like New Delhi and Leh. So, based on the graph, you need to complete the following assignment. Can you do this activity? Complete the table given on page number 46 of your textbook and try to answer the box questions on the same page. Isn't it interesting? Okay. Is factors influencing climate and weather. Can you guess how many factors are there which influence climate and weather? There are 4 factors: latitude, land-water relationship, relief or altitude, and upper air circulation. Let's begin with latitude. What is latitude? Yes, you know this word. So, what is the meaning of latitude? An imaginary line around the earth parallel to the equator is known as latitude. What does it indicate? It indicates the distance an object is from the equator. So, how much an object is from the equator indicates latitude. So, how does latitude affect climate and weather? We all know that Earth is divided into 3 regions: tropical or torrid zone, temperate zone and polar zone. Look at this picture. We see that there are 3 regions on the Earth. What are they? Tropics, polar and temperate zones. Tropic zones are very hot because they are very close to the equator. Polar zones are very cold because they are very far from the equator. Temperate zones are warm compared to tropic and polar zones, as they are not too far nor very near to the equator. Then, how to know where is the object? It can be known through insolation, that is the sun's heat received by the object. Intensity of temperature depends on the latitude, that is insolation or heat from sun's rays received at that location. So, based on the intensity or insolation, we can know the regions are hot or cold or warmer. Look at this image. It is showing the incidence of sun's rays. It is showing the temperature zones of Earth. So, it is more intense at lower latitudes like tropics and less intense at higher latitudes like polar regions. We know that polar regions are extremely cold because the sun's rays, the insolation of sun's rays is very less. Did you understand? In India, the southern part lies in the tropical belt closer to the equator. Therefore, this region has higher temperature than northern part. Look at this image. Can you see India on the globe? Yes. So, which part of India is receiving higher temperature and which part is receiving less temperature? Yeah, the part that is the southern part of India receives higher temperature, is having higher temperature compared to northern part of India because it is very close to the equator. Can you do this activity? How does the angle of sun vary at different latitudes? What impact does this have? So, based on the insolation, complete this activity. The second factor that influences climate and weather is land-water relationship. Have you seen this image before? Yes, you have seen this in your lower classes. What is it indicating? It shows the land and sea breezes. So, to understand land-water relationship, we need to understand about land and sea breezes. What is sea breeze? Sea breeze is the wind developed during the daytime and blows from the sea towards the land. Let us understand it more clearly. Look at this picture. Land gets heated fast and cools fast. On the other hand, water gets heat late and also cools late. During daytime, land gets heated faster than sea. So, the warm air on the land rises up. Cool air from the sea moves towards the land. This is known as sea breeze. And warmer air from the land moves towards the sea to complete the cycle. Did you understand, children, what is sea breeze? So, this is known as sea breeze. Then what about land breeze? During the night time, land is cooler than sea. Hence, cool air from the land blows towards sea. This is called land breeze. So, at night it is totally different. Land gets cool fast than sea. So, the cool air from the land moves towards the sea and the warmer air which is present on the sea moves towards the land. So, this is known as land breeze. Am I clear? Okay. So, based on that, you need to do one activity. Draw the pictures of land breeze and sea breeze and explain the relationship between land and water. Third factor that influences climate and weather is relief or altitude. What is altitude? It is height. So, altitude, like elevation, is the distance above sea level. Areas are often considered high altitude if they reach at least 2,400 meters or 8,000 feet into the atmosphere. We will understand it in a better way. Look at this image. You can see two places like sea or ocean and also mountains. So, what is altitude? It is the height above sea level or the distance above sea level. So, the areas which reach at least 2,400 meters above sea level into the atmosphere are known as altitude. So, what are the altitudes here? It is mountain. Did you understand? So, here is an activity. Why does Darjeeling have pleasant weather as compared to Kolkata during summer season? Locate the hill stations given in your textbook on the map of India. Let's move on to the fourth factor that influences climate and weather. And this is very interesting topic. What is atmospheric circulation? Air in the atmosphere moves around the world in a pattern called global atmospheric circulation. This pattern is called atmospheric circulation is caused because the sun heats the earth more at the equator than at the poles. To understand in a better way, we need to understand three terms here: trade winds, ITCZ and jet streams. Let us begin with trade winds. Trade winds are easterly winds. The word trade is derived from the German word which means track. These winds blow steadily in the same direction and in a constant course. The trade winds or easterlies are the permanent east to west prevailing winds that flow in the Earth's equatorial region. They are named for the direction from which they blow. These winds are called northeasterly trade winds in the northern hemisphere and southeasterly trade winds in the southern hemisphere. Look at this picture. Can you identify the trade winds in this globe? Yes, it is in blue color. The blue arrow marks represent trade winds. In which direction are they moving? They are moving from east to west. As I told you, trade winds, they are also known as easterlies and they always move in the same direction, that is from east to west. If they move from southern hemisphere, they are known as southeasterly trade winds, and if they move from northern hemisphere, they are known as northeasterly trade winds. So both these trade winds, that is from south and north, they meet at one point, they converge at one point. What is that point known as? It is Intertropical Convergence Zone, that is ITCZ. Let us understand ITCZ. What is the full form? Intertropical Convergence Zone. It is the area where the northeast and southeast trade winds converge. It is responsible for the wet and dry seasons in the tropics as it moves north in the northern hemisphere, summer, and south in the northern hemisphere, winter. See the image here. Can you see a red line here? It is Intertropical Convergence Zone. So, as I told you, southeasterly trade winds and northeasterly trade winds, both of them meet at a point known as Intertropical Convergence Zone. Can you see the line here? Okay. So, what is the next one? Jet streams. When you hear the word jet, what image comes to your mind? Yes, it is speed. So, jet streams are fast flowing air currents. The climate of India is also affected by the movement of upper air currents known as jet streams. These are cold, fast flowing air currents in a narrow belt in the upper atmosphere about 12,000 meters. The speed varies from 110 kilometers per hour in summer to about 184 kilometers per hour in winter. Now look at this picture. Can you identify the jet streams here? Yeah, it's like a wave. Can you see this red wave? This is jet stream. So these are fast flowing air currents, and as I told you, they are cold air currents. So when they are moving, and at what speed they move? They move at 110 kilometers per hour in summer and 180 kilometers per hour in winter. So when they move, they make the neighboring atmosphere also to cool. Look at this picture. In the polar regions, these jet streams are known as polar jet streams, and in the tropical region, subtropical region where India is located, they are known as subtropical jet streams. So when these jet streams flow, they carry the cold air along with them. So, the neighboring countries also gets cool. An easterly jet stream develops at about 25 degrees north latitude. A jet stream causes the neighboring atmosphere to cool and causes rain from the clouds already found over this latitude, that is 25 degrees north latitude. So, jet streams, when they move over 25 degrees north latitude, they also cause rainfall, because already clouds are present on this latitude. So, that is why they help to cause rainfall. Am I clear, children? Okay. So, here is a last activity for you. What is the meaning of atmospheric circulation? What are trade winds? What is the full form of ITCZ? What is the speed of jet streams in summer and winter? Let's have a quick recapitulation of what we have learnt in this part 1, that is climate of India. We discussed about the concepts, that is weather and climate. We also discussed about the factors influencing climate and weather. So, how many factors are influencing? There are 4 factors: latitude, altitude, land water relationship, and upper atmospheric circulation. Hope I am clear with it. For better understanding of the concepts, solve the worksheets. Please visit the official website of SCRT for worksheets. To be continued in part 2. Thank you.